Hey everyone, hope everybody's doing well. Today we're out in the backyard and it's a nice day, and I'm part of a bunch of Facebook groups, and one of the things that had come up in one of the photography meetup groups that I'm in is that people are getting ready to go on vacation and they're wondering what camera to buy. And me being a Leica fan, I'm like, get one of the Q3s. That'd be a great option for you. The thing that we come across, though, is two arguments. One is obviously price. The other one is flexibility. Now, on the pro side of the equation, it's waterproof, it's small, you're not carrying a bunch of stuff with you, you can go on a trip, it shoots great video, like it just does everything that you need it to do. But my argument is that you have one camera that will do it all. And so if you need that lens flexibility, then can you get that through the Q3? Now, for those of you that are familiar with this system, you'll know that the Q3 has kind of crop simulations of different focal lengths, and that's what we're going to test out today. So what we're going to do is I have this set up. This is the 43 millimeter. So I have this set up at the 90 millimeter kind of simulated focal length. And then what we'll do is we'll take a picture of, I have a little setup over here of just some wine bottles, and I put one of the Q3s there. It's not going to be a photographic masterpiece, but what I want to do is see how close that the Q3s can get to a regular 85 millimeter lens. So I have a Sigma 85 millimeter 1.4. Now, to keep things fair, what we'll do is, because the Q3 43 goes down to f2.0, we'll set the 85 millimeter when we set that up as a 2.0 as well. And then as we change to the 28 millimeter, that goes down to 1.7. So we'll open that up to 1.7 on both cameras, so that at least the f-stop will be consistent. The other thing is that there's not an 85 millimeter focal length. So just keep that in mind as well. We're about 6 inches off roughly between the two focal lengths, but let's see what we get and let's see how close we get. And then we can try to make the argument, do you really need a camera that has all these lenses, or can you get away with using some of the crop modes on the Q3, and what do you give up in doing that? We know you're going to give up some resolution, but these pictures come out so sharp. Let's compare and find out. So the first one we'll do is we'll take a picture with the Q3 43, and I'll make sure that I'm locked in to the same focus point on each of these shots. So right now I'm looking at the label of the champagne bottle. Okay, so we have the camera set up. Right now we are at 1/4000th of a second, f2, and 100 on the ISO. And so I've locked this into basically just above the camera and where the champagne bottle logo is. And so we'll take a picture at 90 millimeters on the crop mode. And so now what we'll do is we'll take this off and we'll replace it with the Sony. This is the A7CR, and this is the Sigma 85 millimeter 1.4 DGDN lens. I really love this lens. I did a review on it if you want to take a look. We are going to tilt this down just a little bit. We're going to set the aperture to 2.0 for this shot. ISO is at 100. And this camera also wants it at a 1/4000. So we're good to go. We'll take the picture. Okay, so we got a good picture there. And because we're going to be comparing the Q3 28, what we'll do is we'll set this now to 1.7. Okay, the closest I can get is about 1.8, so we'll deal with that. Okay, we got the picture taken there. So now let's swap out the 43 with the 28. Okay, we'll open this to 1.7 and then we'll do a 2.0 as well. It drops the shutter down to 1/6400th, f2 at 100 ISO. Okay, so that's going to be the test. Now let's take a look at the images and see what our test shows. I'm looking at the images, but right off the bat, you're going to notice that the 85mm, the backgrounds are completely blown out at either, I think 1.8 is what I was able to get the Sigma at, or 2.0, and it's just blown out. And so if you want that really creamy, buttery background, the Leica is not going to be able to compete with that necessarily. Also keep in mind that the 85mm is going to be a little bit wider in these pictures, so I didn't move the camera closer. I could have moved it 6 inches closer and got a comparable image to about a 90mm. But what you're going to notice right off the bat is that, first of all, in my opinion, the Leica images are just completely a better image, in my opinion, from colors and dimension, and it's just better, in my opinion. Comment below if you have a different opinion. But you're going to notice right off the bat that the backgrounds are not as compressed, but they're not bad. They're not bad on the 43 or the 28mm. Now, the 43 and the 28 do have different bokeh in the background, and you can absolutely see because it's just a different lens. So the compression's a little bit different on each, which is not surprising, but it's interesting. The other thing you'll notice is that on the 43mm, the backgrounds are blown out a lot more than the 28, even though the 28 can stop down lower, but not significantly. It's still a very pleasant image. So the question then becomes, if you're taking pictures and you need a farther reach, do you really need that 85mm? So all three of these cameras have a 60 megapixel resolution to them. Now, because when you crop in, you're losing resolution, but you tell me if you can tell. You might be able to tell if you really blew them up, but I can crop this thing and read the small print on the labels of these bottles for the most part. So it's not a deal breaker by any means as far as your ability to lose resolution. It's just non-existent for most things. Now, if you were printing, maybe, but I'll post the resolution loss for the Leicas. If you zoom into 90mm, what does that kind of degrade your picture quality to? But from an image quality standpoint, I don't think you'd be able to tell that this was some sort of cropped image. Now, what the giveaway is that if you want that kind of completely blown out background, then yes, you're not going to be able to get that with this camera. But if you're looking for a one camera solution for traveling and you need further reach, or if you're going someplace and you need that further reach, if you're taking portraits, this would still be a great portrait lens at the 43 or even the 27. So that's the point of this video, is the question that was being asked was, what is a reasonably priced camera that I can travel with, that's waterproof and all this other stuff? And my response was, get the Q3, with the caveat that it may or may not be priced reasonably, but from a capability standpoint, it's small to carry, does great video if you can hold the camera steady, or put it on a tripod or a little mount. You can get enough reach that you don't need multiple lenses. So whether you're at the 28mm version or the 43mm version, you have a ton of reach with these lenses and still can get great pictures out of them. So you're almost carrying a whole bag of lenses with you. And so it just makes this camera more and more compelling, in my opinion. But you tell me what you think below. I hope this was helpful. To me, it justifies the cost for a lot of people and makes the argument that the Q system is a really good system for traveling. And I'll do more videos. I have maybe a trip planned this year, and I'll be doing more videos with the Q3 as a sole travel camera, and let's see how it performs. But in my mind, if you're out preparing for the travel season and you want to invest in a system, I think the Q3 is a really compelling offer. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. Take care.